Well, this should be one of the highlights of day one. Men's hockey, Australia versus Argentina. Let's go out to Teresa with David Christensen and Richard Agus.
Well, thanks very much. It's really a very, very important game for Australia today versus Argentina. These two teams have had a good chance to scout each other. Richard Agus, 2 games in the last couple of months, and Argentina won that one in Darwin, 3-2.
Yes, that was quite a surprising result. I understand that the Australian guys had trained in the morning, so maybe they were playing doggo. But they turned that around in Cairns a week later when they beat them 5-0, and I would expect them to win today.
Nonetheless, Argentina are a vastly experienced side. If you look at the two teams, Australia has an average international appearance rate of about 80 games. Argentina not far behind on 79. Their average age is 25, exactly the same.
Yes, very, very close. And their captain, Garafo, is a very, very experienced campaigner, 34 years of age and 190 internationals.
There he is, Marcelo Garafo. And a very popular man in Spain as well, because he plays here in the Spanish National League. Magnificent facility, this at Teresa. This is the second pitch. It has seating facilities for about 4,500 people, and the main pitch, seating facilities for 10,200. An absolutely magnificent stadium for hockey.
Never seen a better stadium. 3 fields side by side, fantastic lighting, excellent facilities for the players, for the media and everybody, and it's just going to be a great hockey tournament.
So all was in readiness for this, the first game of the 1992 Olympic hockey tournament. Warren Birmingham, the Australian captain. Lee Bottomede, who injured a shoulder in
unusual circumstances
at the Olympic Village last week, but he's okay. He's taken his place on the right wing. That's because Mark Hager is out, and for Australia, Stephen Davies has moved into, well, we thought he would move into the central striking position today, and he has.
Yeah, centre forward for Australia today, Steve Davies, from Parks in New South Wales, played a lot of his hockey at centre forward for New South Wales as Australia break away through Lewis.
Important for Australia to try to get as good an early start as they possibly can today.
Wansbrough lifted that ball into the circle. David Wansbrough will play inside left for Australia, Jay Stacy inside right, and Stephen Davies in the middle. Paul Lewis on the left wing, number 12 in the picture now. Will play on the left wing, Paul from Adelaide.
Marcelo Garafo, the team captain, vastly experienced. 190 internationals he's played. Michael York, who was under an injury cloud going into this tournament with a groin strain, has come through quite well. On the attack now is Carlos Ganeo. Birmingham, an attempted clearance that didn't go all that far, and Australia's still in trouble.
They take the free hit very quickly. There's a very good tackle by Birmingham in the circle, and they're away as Evan breaks down the right. Bottomede's unable to keep the ball in play. It'll be a 16-yard hit.
So Australia in a pool that also includes Egypt, Germany, India and Great Britain. The overhead ball played out of defence by Argentina. But,
a lot of water on the pitch.
But something we spoke about in our previews, Richard, that these new surfaces are very spongy, and they've still had some troubles with them, haven't they?
They have, and only recently, as a month or so ago, they pulled the number 1 pitch up and relayed it because the water was draining away too quickly. And now, as we look at the number 2 pitch, it's obvious that there's a lot of water still on the pitch, and that's going to slow the ball down.
Pablo Lombi was the man at right half. Wansbrough attempting to get it through to Bottomede, who was cutting in from the right wing.
Dangerous play, I would have thought.
Plays, and is. Wansbrough standing up to that, and there could well be a warning there on Diego Olona. There isn't. Birmingham, Australian captain, one of the most respected men in the world of hockey.
Good play.
Still forcing was Birmingham, and Argentina run it away. The trait of these Argentinians, a lot of them like to play without shin pads, which at this level is sort of taking your legs in your hands, isn't it? Yeah,
they tend to play that way a lot. They're used to playing that way, and they feel very comfortable with it, and as do the Spaniards. So we would find that very unusual in Australia, but of course they tend to play like that all the time.
Both teams still just feeling each other out. Pablo Lombi in shot. Jay Stacy, Victorian striker. The goalkeeper comes out to set play in motion. That's Emmanuel Rogero. Played 74 internationals, the Argentine goalkeeper, and that really is quite a good record for a goalkeeper.
Very good record, and in fact he was playing back in 1986 at the World Cup and in 1988 Olympics, so he's been around for a long time, and as you say, 74 is a lot of games.
Worth also just pointing out that the loss Australia suffered to Argentina and Darwin at the end of May was the first loss to an Argentine side by an Australian full international side since 1976.
That's right. In 1976 at the Olympics, Australia got themselves into all sorts of problems by losing to Argentina because it meant they had to play India a second time to qualify for the semi-finals, which they won, of course, but that was a bad loss.
Australia getting the free hit under dubious circumstances. Walk. Birmingham once again. Evans outside him. That's where he goes. It's not controlled.
Very tentative start. The ground is very slow, and that's going to take a little while for some of that water to drain away.
It's also going to give the Australians and the Pakistanis, for instance, some problems in their close-end ball control. Just the stickiness of that surface.
Certainly, because the ball just doesn't travel as freely as you would like it to.
Oh, yeah.
Makes it a little harder to control in the tight situations, but I'm sure in the next few minutes, as the water drains away, the ball will flow a little more freely.
Bottomede in with the tackle, just a little too aggressively. Lee Bottomede.
From Warwick in Queensland, young player.
Well picked up. And as you would expect, with their Hispanic influence, a good deal more support for Argentina than Australia at Tarasa today.
Certainly is. And,
that's the first time we're
of course, Australia, one of the favourite teams here. People are always looking for an upset.
Because the Yanks have probably said, hey, goddamn, we want to see more of our guys, you know?
In the headband is Ruiz.
Pablo Lombi,
There's a lot of countries you'd be taking
who
this
is playing as a right-side striker.
So early into that.
The Argentines favouring an almost conventional lineup.
Not the first gold medal, actually, because there's a shooting event that starts
Ruiz
later,
and Lombi.
finishes earlier. Yeah.
For the uninitiated, the Australians need to be 5 metres away from the ball as the free hit is taken.
Good play by Lewis.
As Paul Lewis really has established himself in this Australian side this year.
He epitomises the value of hard work, hard training.
Lachlan's in Canberra, isn't he?
Just relentless pursuit of being an Olympian,
Lawson's
and that's
Kelowna,
Paul.
Sunshine Coast. Yeah.
Argentina still in possession, but in their defensive half. This is Ruiz, dispossessed by Birmingham, who played well, but not well enough to convince the referee.
No, I don't know either of the two umpires, Cortanzo and Lagle. I don't know either of them, and it'll be interesting to see. And it's possibly their first Olympics, so they're probably a little nervous as well.
Of course, Australia has another representative here at this Olympic Games, and that's Don Pryor, the umpire from Western Australia, formerly from South Australia, and he in fact umpired the gold medal final in Seoul. Argentina on the attack again, this time through Ferrara on the left wing. Perez, Rodolfo Perez, 24 years of age, 46 international caps. Here he is again. See the water coming up. This ground really is very, very heavily watered for two reasons. The most important being the safety of the players if they go over on it.
It's quite slippery too, as you can see. The players are quite tentative in their approach to the ball. Good defence by Evans, working away out of.
Walk just getting the stick in, and Bottomede with the clearance. So the Argentinians certainly not phased by playing the Australian side here. As we said, they've had a victory over them recently, although that was followed up by a 5-0 loss. Play allowed to continue momentarily.
The unintentional tackle on
Perez. Alongside him is Diego Alana and Martin Sordelli. You see that tackle once again. Just catching the foot, Jay Stacy.
The umpire was well aware that it was an accident and therefore just gave Jay Stacy a little warning.
Daniel Ruiz. Colombia was offside.
not a confident start by Australia. They're not moving the ball as fast as I would have liked to see them early on in the game, because, as you can see, the Argentinians are all behind the ball, like they do in their soccer, man-to-man marking. Unless the ball's moved really quickly, Australia are going to struggle.
Andrew Dean picked up for lifting the ball. Dean Evans, I should say.
Yes.
Past tense. Argentina once again in the back line. Very methodical build-up.
Yes,
I'd have expected to see something a little more innovative from some of the Argentinian forwards. They certainly played well enough in Darwin. Birmingham. Through ball looking for Lewis, finds him eventually, but well cut out again by Marcelo Garrafo. As now as Gabriel Minadeo. Ruiz takes on and beats Wansbrough down the right side. That was ambitious, probably too ambitious. Michael York, solid in defence as ever. Knocked out by Birmingham, but still they come away with it. Argentina, Gabriel Minadeo. Birmingham diving tackle. The Australians, well,
certainly looks very untidy, and players looking very tentative in these slippery conditions, and the ball certainly not moving freely.
It's a good run by Minadeo into the 25-yard line. The danger, of course, once you pass that 25-yard line, is the concession of a penalty corner.
Yes, that was blown for offside. In hockey, you need two players between you and the goal inside the last 25 metres. So the Argentinian player was caught in an offside position.
Garrafo again.
When Garrafo played in the 1986 World Cup and the 84 and 88 Olympics, he was in the centre half position, but of course as he's got older he's gone back to fullback.
Is that the only reason people go back to fullback, Dick?
No, that's not true, Dave. The fullback, you know, the strength of the team.
Can I just point out too that Australia, when you look at these sides and compare them with the Germans, the Dutch, the Pakistanis, the Indians, Australia has a rock-solid defence, speaking of fullbacks, with Walker and York, and it really is going to be the job of the forwards to capitalise on any opportunity they get, because I think, as you've said earlier in the week, the Australians are certainly capable of holding any side to perhaps a goal or maybe two.
That's right, and I think with Walker and York at the back, probably the best fullback combination in the world, ably backed up by Evans, Carey and Birmingham in the middle. It's a very, very good defence. The loss of Mark Hager, only time will tell how important that's going to be. And this player is a very important player in Wansbrough. He needs to be in the play all the time. He's a fantastic playmaker, and of course now here's Lewis going down the left wing.
Good tackle by Lombi, Pablo Lombi. So that should be a corner. Lombi's running back to try to take a 16-yard hit.
They try anything.
Tend to talk in yards in hockey, don't we?
They still do.
Lewis, not the best of hits from the corner post.
Good tackle.
Ashley Carey coming in from left half. Daniel Ruiz just throwing the stick around a little, but he got away with it. This now is Minadeo again. Gabriel Minadeo, that's a good through ball. It's Elmer doing the job required of him. Deletti, rather, Damon Deletti.
Yes, big hole in the middle of the field then, and the ball was pushed through. Well cleared by Deletti, but for a long corner.
That's going the other way. Wansbrough once again, a chance to build something. We haven't yet seen a lot of Stephen Davies, but he is being well held by Edgardo Payos at the moment. Payos playing in the, not a true centre-half position, more a man-to-man marking position. You can see him left of screen. Payos and Stephen Davies working very closely on him. Mind you, most of these sides would have been relieved to see Mark Hager out of the Australian lineup.
Oh, yes, they'd be very happy about that.
Here's Davies now, working the penalty corner, and that's what Australia wanted. Good work from Stephen Davies, persistent work. Just congratulated there by Lee Bottomede.
It's very old.
There's Emmanuel Roguero, 74 internationals, as we said. Our Eastern States viewers will be leaving us in just a moment for their nightly news bulletin. So the Argentinians prepare to defend this first corner by the Australians.
This Olympic telecast brought to you by St George. Now the bank you've been waiting for. Fresh New South Wales milk and the Commonwealth Bank, Australia's leading bank.
Good news from Terrassa, and that is that Australia have gone into half-time 3-0 up against Argentina with 3 wonderful field goals. The first, an opportunist diving shot from Lee Bottomede. Lee Bottomede with the first goal from the right wing. Absolutely magnificent opportunist shot. Was followed up about 5 minutes later by David Wansbrough, who pounced on a ball. He'd missed a shot just before and put it into the goalkeeper's pads. On the second occasion, he managed to chip it over the top. And again, it was Wansbrough who figured so prominently in the third goal. He helped to intercept a very loose pass out of the Argentine defence and slipped the ball off to Paul Lewis, who just managed to get the stick held in one hand to it to put Australia, as we said, 3-0 up going into half-time. So very happy, the Australians. Paul Lewis getting that third goal, as we said, just managing to get the stick on it, just one hand. And a very handy lead for Australia going into half-time. The umpires, Costanza and Langle from Spain and I think Germany, respectively. There's Lockie Dreyer, who has been out giving the reserves some practice. Lockie Dreyer facing us, the goalkeeper. And with his back to us is Damon Deletti. Deletti, another of the Australians who came, France in fact, umpire Langler's from, thank you. Deletti came into this tournament with a hip problem, which I guess is going to bug him for quite some time, Richard.
Yes, it could be something he's going to have to live with the rest of his life, and he's going to have to manage that injury very, very carefully if he wants to play international hockey for the next 10 years, which he's more than capable of. But it just means that he's going to need to be handled very, very carefully in terms of training and his long-term preparation, as we see Warren Birmingham, the captain, who was so instrumental in the early part of the game when I thought the Australians were very nervous and struggling to handle the ball well. Was Birmingham, Walk, those sort of players who were handling the ball a little better than the others, whereas the Argentinians that we can see there, Ferrara, number 11, is a penalty corner hitter. They've only been in attack 2 or 3 times, and even when they got up there, they just didn't have the numbers to capitalise on the chances that when the ball was in the circle. About 15 and 20 minute mark, almost as we went to the Eastern States, people went to the news. It was almost the signal for the Australians to get into another gear, and people like Wansbrough and Stacy, Davies got into that extra gear, started robbing the ball off the Argentinians as they were coming out of defence. And as David so rightly said in the call, the whole game changed, and there were 3 very, very good goals, with the one by Lee Bottomede from quite an acute angle.
Damon Deletti just re-stretching before he goes back out again. Tough job for goalkeepers, especially on a hot day.
Yes, and the loss of fluid's a real problem, and most of them would have a bottle in a squirt container behind the goal, and they would keep that there, and when the ball's at the other end, they have to keep replenishing their water supply, which is very important in these hot conditions. Of course, they can squirt that through the mask. They don't have the luxury of being able to take the mask on and off all the time, and so they actually squirt themselves and have a drink through the wires on their mask.
So no changes to either side as we come out the start of the second half. And you'd have to say that Argentina haven't been playing with a great deal of enthusiasm. What do you say to them as a coach?
Well, I think that they've got nothing to lose now. They're 3-0 down. I mean, the next 10 minutes are going to be very important for them, as we see the boxing kangaroo on one of the flags. There are a few Australians in the stand. But I think the Argentinian coach would be urging them to play with a little more zip and enthusiasm and have a go. And probably we might even find that there are more Argentinians going forward. If they keep playing the same way, they might get hammered in this game, and they might throw a few more people forward to try and get that goal in the first 10 minutes.
So, all is in readiness for the start of the second half of this game, with Australia certainly holding the whip hand. As away we go. Immediately, Paul Lewis into the action again. Wansbrough. They have combined well on that left side today.
They have very well, and Paul Lewis has been very good. And early on, when the other forwards were struggling a little bit, Paul Lewis was the one who was providing some impetus on the left wing.
Argentina still persisting with the right-hand side. They've done very little down the left all day, apart from trying to come out of defence, and that hasn't worked for them too well either. Walk cracks it forward. Jay Stacy was offside.
In fact, they're taking the ball back to where Ken Walk hit it, so he's obviously blown for some other breach. We're just thinking Dean Evans has probably had about 3 hits, and here's a chance out here. Dean Evans, number 10, right half. This will be one of the very few left-sided attacks. That's broken down now that Dean's got hold of the ball.
You can see just how wet that is down there, though.
Protects the ball beautifully, gains the free hit.
Birmingham and Walk. All the way back to Michael York. Good transition by the Australians all day today. Certainly after we got out of that first 15 minutes where both sides were just testing each other.
Here they go with Davies.
Stephen Davies, China to his mates. Held up by Lewis, who acknowledges the foot.
Yes, I thought Steve might have taken taken the Argentinian player on in a one-on-one. Must have got a call on the inside because he slipped the ball left and was never on.
Martin Sordelli. Well, the Argentine side could do a lot better. I was going to say, could do a lot better than stay that far back. Crikey.
Yeah, that's confidence in your skills to take the ball back through the circle.
Now a chance. There's Ferrara on the left. Can't get it through to him. There is no foul, so that is excellent defence by Kenny Walk. Great work by Ken Walk.
Yeah, it's a ground slippery.
Still Argentina, though. This time it's Evans.
Oh, a late call. Birmingham. There's been a clash there. Perez
and Warren Birmingham.
Australians get on very well with the Argentinians, and there's very seldom been any animosity between the two teams, and it was good to see Perez just making sure that Birmingham was okay. I mean, that doesn't mean they don't play hard and tough and all of that, but at the end of the day, they get on very well off the field, and we've had a tremendous relationship with these two, with the Argentinians over a long period of time.
He's just gone down and added a little weight to Birmingham's falling frame. Australian captain up and well.
A little bit of danger here for Australia, but as you can see, only one Argentinian in the circle for the set play.
Alona left it for Perez. And that's as far as it went for Argentina, although they're back in again.
Yeah, Stephen Davies wasn't strong on the ball then.
Again, Walk tidies up for Australia. Evans. That's a good tackle by Perez. Sets Ferrara away. And again, Ken Walk, solid in defence. The Australians let the ball go out.
Australia had the ball twice then. Stephen Davies and Dean Evans both lost the ball in a tight situation.
Ferrara actually should have done better than that as well.
Should have.
An opportunity to pull the ball back and put it across. Walk. Australia gets the resultant push in. Bonamede quickly takes for Stacy, and the tackle of Perez on
bit aggressive.
Stacy was, I was going to say agricultural. Yes, I guess aggressive will do. Evans outside him. Goes forward instead to Bonamede. It was always going to be tough for Lee Bonamede because it got to him just a little too close to the Argentinian.
Yeah, no space in which to operate. I'm sure Frank Murray would have urged the players to keep going the way they were in the last 15 minutes of the first half. Certainly not to take any tempo out of the game. The game not over. And of course, we can see the press being applied now.
I don't think Argentina can afford to keep doing that in its back line. Chance for Wansbrough. Out comes the goalkeeper. The chip over the top was attempted, but a long way wide.
Yeah, it's been a good piece of skill by David Wansbrough. Probably kicking himself. He probably thought he should have lobbed the goalkeeper then. He went for it, but it was off. It was to the side. It's a good opportunity, but in a difficult situation with no space. Reguera, he's a character.
He's been around for a while now.
Nice fork backhand smash by Wansbrough.
Very difficult to do from the left-hand side of the field. So Australia's still commanding 3-0 leaders here.
Good skill by the Argentinians.
Bonamede, and that'll be a free hit to Perez. Rodolfo Perez. The through ball almost got there, but for the long arms of Ken Walk.
Oh, he's knocked the ball away.
Hit away by Carlos Janeiro. Not a clever thing to do on the first day of a tournament.
No.
Put yourself at odds with the umpires.
And get a card.
Australia's methodical, but losing possession. Again, a chance for Argentina. Great save by Davies. Reflex action. Excellent effort by the goalkeeper. The shot from Fernando Ferreira. And Davies just got the foot there. Now it's Bonamede with the chance outside. The goalkeeper stopped it with his stick. Davies, Bonamede once again will try to work the penalty corner if he can. It's a right idea.
Yeah, could have probably chose the option to go for the penalty corner, but probably could have shown a little more faith in his ability to beat somebody in the one-on-one, go along the back line and slip it across the front.
With Australia leading 3-0, we'll take a break from Barcelona. Welcome back to Terrassa with the news that there has been no further score. Hockey's a good sport like that. Missed nothing. Here's a chance for Australia once again. Good save by Reguero off Bonamede. Again, a good thrust forward. Australia has had most of the attack while we've been away. It's just not able to finish it off. Birmingham now. Just a little high. I mean, Argentina will come away. But again, poor outlet pass from the Argentinians. Australia leading 3-0 by virtue of those first half goals to Bonamede, Wansbrough and Lewis. Very promising start to this tournament by the Australians.
An injury there. Hit on the hand in that tackle. Writhing in agony. Looks like Perez, but...
He might have just caught it in the ribs. Making a fair sort of meal of it over there.
Yes. Lee Bonamede's had 2 or 3 chances this half. Reguero's brought off 2 very good saves, as we just saw. But apart from that, that one save by Davies, which he was called on to make a little earlier from the Argentina attack, they were the 3 interesting things that have happened in the last 10 minutes. It was a good save by Davies, an important save.
So Pablo Lombi is up and about.
Lombi.
Maybe not well, but certainly up and about. And we'll work with his captain, Garafo, to get the ball out of Argentina's defensive half. We'll come back and wait for time on to be blown this time. That was the cause of the delay. So this is interesting because if they're actually doing what I think they are, they're taking off their captain, Marcelo Garafo. He didn't appear to be injured. Well, that's most unusual.
Yeah, maybe saving him for another day, but he certainly hasn't played a big role in this game.
He's handing the captaincy over to Mandarano as well. Adrian Mandarano, who's 23 years of age.
She's going to give it to somebody else on the way.
You'd think so, wouldn't you? It's gone to Diego Olona, who doesn't actually have that much more experience than the man who just gave him the captain's armband. Olona is 24 years of age, has 37 internationals behind him. Once again, Lombi with the toss over the top. Well done by Michael York. Stacy, Australians streaming forward again. An ambitious through pass. Didn't make it to Bonamede. And a little bit of feeling creeping in. Edgardo Payos. David Wansbrough almost wearing the outlet. Argentina still unable to break through. They're getting bottled up on that right-hand side with very few options on the left.
Mind you, Australia been playing into their hands a little bit by it's been so congested. The ball needs to be switched to the right, get the ball out to Bonamede or out to Lewis, create some space for the players to work in. That's the sort of ball we're looking for, yes.
Good pass.
As Argentina come out of defence, using the overhead again. See, some of the Australian players, the bench players, are warming up, so there could be some substitutions at about the 20-minute mark or the 25-minute mark. At the Olympic Games, if you get to the medal situation, the only people who can receive medals are the people who've been on the field of play, so it's always a good opportunity, if the opportunity arises, to get everybody on the field so you don't have that problem if you get around semi-final time.
I think most hockey followers would remember the very sad scenario at Montreal when the silver medals were handed out to the Australians. Not only sad because there wasn't a gold there, but Steve Marshall, the winger from South Australia, who had done the whole bit and right through the tournament but didn't actually play a game, and was denied a silver medal.
Exactly, and a similar thing happened, was avoided in Seoul with the gold medal performance by the girls. Coach Brian Glencross was forced to put two players on in the last minute of the gold medal game. Now that's something that can cause all sorts of heartache, and it's something to be avoided, and I'm sure if the Australian players can get everybody on the field in the next 2 or 3 days, they'll be very happy, because that's one thing they won't have to worry about if they get to the semi-finals later on.
And you suspect the opportunity will come against this team in Egypt, the first 2 games?
Well, this game's not over yet by any stretch of the imagination, and I think the Australians have just lost the plot here for a little while.
That ball lifted into the circle, and Australia will take the resulting free hit to bring it out of defence.
If there's still 3-0 with 10 minutes to go, 15 minutes to go, they might make the first substitution. And got to be careful about that, because in Australia we play interchange, but here in the international arena we're still playing substitution. The actual interchange rule won't come in until after these Olympic Games, which are long overdue in my opinion. There's an obstruction there by Dean Evans, pushed the Argentine player quite clearly.
Perez. Still, the Argentinians more prepared to go backwards than forwards. And again, that's what's happened. Edgardo Payos unable to control it. He wanted to get it out to Martin Sordelli, but it really wasn't a realistic option. Davies obstructed, but the advantage was paid.
There's a breach back in the midfield, yeah, it's a long way back, which forced the error. Quite often the umpire will just wait and see whether the ball falls to advantage, and if it doesn't, and it's quite often a significant advantage, they'll bring the ball back and give it a free hit, as they did to Argentina then.
Alejandro Siri is number 8 for Argentina, who's come onto the field without us noticing. Sneaky substitution. So 2 substitutions for Argentina now.
Of course, if that substitution took place at half-time, quite often the last people to know about it are the commentators, because there's no official method by which they would inform us if a substitution has taken place.
Birmingham dispossessed, but York is there to tidy up. Birmingham again. Still with possession, Warren Birmingham. There's Carey outside him, but goes back to Walk. Cracks it forward to Evans. Stacy inside, that's where it goes, trying for the 1-2. Stacy's foot gets in the way.
Yes, he was set up for the 1-2. It was so obviously going to be a 1-2. I thought Evans would throw a dummy and go around the outside.
Mandarano, the player who just came on to replace the Argentine skipper, Marcelo Garafo. Can Walk. Birmingham, good trap, left-hand side. It's not easy. Lewis just couldn't control it.
This pass from Birmingham was bouncing and in the air, but Lewis normally a good trap. But when you're on the sideline, there's no margin for error.
So Argentina again. Edgardo Payos. Chance for Argentina to build something down the right-hand side. Benedeo and Ferraro have probably been their 2 best players, but still haven't done enough up forward. Stacy.
Stick check there, knocked it forward, well played.
Very harsh tackle, but allowed to play on.
Great play, great umpiring. Great play by Jay Stacy. He rode the tackle. It certainly was a hack tackle. The umpire called play on. He knocked it left, and there's Stephen Davies, the boy from Parks. Beautiful little chip shot over the goalkeeper. It's 4-0.
So goals now to Bottomede, Wansbrough, Lewis, and this one to Stephen Davies. Just got into the circle. The goalkeeper couldn't cover the angle. He'd come out a long way, probably making the first attempt on Jay Stacy, but too many angles, too many options for Australia, And Argentina now 4-0 down. More importantly, Australia 4-zip up.
Stephen Davies scored 8 goals at the last Champions Trophy in Pakistan, and 8 goals in a tournament involving 5 matches is a fantastic performance, and that's the sort of form Australia would be looking for, and he'd be very pleased to get that goal on the board.
Well, given that he's taken the key striking role from the injured Mark Hager, that's a good confidence boost.
It certainly is, and Australia would be looking for him to score 7 to 10 goals in this tournament. And if they're going to go on and be a semi-finalist, as we're all hoping, someone has to score a bag of goals, or all of them share in 2 or 3 each, I suppose, is another way of looking at it.
As most Australians know, that is not Alan Berry. In fact, that's Frank Murray, the coach. But over here, they tend to call coaches managers and managers
they do,
coaches.
It gets a bit confusing.
Stacy once again. There's Lewis outside him on the left. Tries for bottom. Look at this. Great work by the Australians.
Offside.
Only just. That was a wonderfully, wonderfully precise build-up.
And that's where I think in hockey we should have no offside. In that situation where you've beaten everybody, just eliminated everybody by skill, and probably Stephen Davies was probably 6 inches to a foot offside, and you wonder how important that is in the game.
You can't change the rules.
I know,
as much as you'd like.
I'd like to.
So, with Australia leading 4 goals to 0, we'll take a break and come back to Barcelona in just a moment. To Australia, but the Australians facing perhaps the greatest threat so far from Argentina. In fact, it is the greatest threat so far. It's Argentina's first penalty corner. That's a little harsh, an Argentine attack which Deletti cleared towards the sideline, but went over the back line first.
Yeah, he kicked it in the air. That was the problem.
So Diego alone had to push out to the Argentine penalty corner battery. It's almost balletic, isn't it, his pose there? Looks very uncomfortable. Ferraro. Well saved.
Like Kenny Walk saved it on the line.
And Ferrara, who's been hitting them at practice during the lead-up, opted for the flick that time. So the corner. Again, a chance for Argentina to build something. It all comes to naught, though, and Australia will clear with a 16-yard hit.
It always seems harsh when the goalkeeper makes a very good save, but he kicks the ball out in the air dangerously past an oncoming forward, and he gets penalised with the penalty corner. It always seems a little harsh to me, but it teaches the goalkeepers to be very careful the way they kick the ball, and they spend a lot of time doing that.
Now this is Sordelli.
Obstruction.
Very quickly. Little elbow.
Yes.
Trial by video will get that. Wansbrough. Stacy. I was going to say he left it for Davies, but that's probably being generous, isn't it?
It was very generous. Yes.
Argentina. This is Perez. And Argentina, you'd have to say, really have had a few passengers so far today, Dick.
Very ordinary performance. I fully expected them to do a whole lot better than this, but it was interesting. Their form in their practice match, they got absolutely thrashed by Pakistan 8-1. So maybe they've lost their way somewhere along the way. A month ago they were going well, but now they're struggling.
Carlos Cocina, the Argentine coach. Good tackle. Dean Evans. Carlos Janeo. Perez once again. Being hassled by Stacy. So Australia back on the attack again, and very cleverly popped over the top. That's a great effort by Jay Stacy. And at this stage, we welcome back our viewers from SAS 7 in Adelaide with the good news that Australia have just gone 5-0 up against Argentina. They went to the half-time break 3-0 up and have scored since by Stephen Davies. And then this goal from
David Wansbrough
once again.
And I think David Wansbrough has just been replaced by Graham Reid, which will give Graham Reid an opportunity to get involved in the game in the last few minutes of this match. He will go to inside left, which gives Rob Wansbrough a chance to have a bit of a rest, because there's a long way to go in this competition. But as we were saying earlier, Argentina certainly have been disappointing. A month ago I saw them in Cairns, and they
same scoreline, 5-0.
5-0 in fact, but they looked much sharper on that day. And Australia beat them 5-0, but 2 brilliant goals by Stephen Davies broke their heart. But certainly, actually, as we watch, there's a little niggle in the game now. There's a bit of talk between Stacy and one or two of the Argentinians. So maybe they're discussing about having a drink after the game or something. But
heading to a local tapas bar.
Yes.
We've lost the signal. We have lost the signal. We've lost the signal.
We're back live now as Argentina are in attack. Diving tackle by Evans just outside the circle. Free hit to Australia. Kenny Walk was going to go quickly with the pass, but decided that in these circumstances, 5-0 up, as Evans flicks the ball over the top, safely out of harm's way. Perez to Pelé. Obstruction by Stacy as Argentina through their stand-in captain, Alona.
Yeah, who actually got hurt on that last goal that Australia scored. It seems to be okay now. So it hasn't been a good day. Certainly not a good start to this tournament for Argentina, who would have come in expecting to do a little better on the strength of their win in Darwin over Australia at the end of May.
Yes, and I think Lachlan Elmer's on the field now. Dean Evans has gone off, so he gets his first touch in international hockey. Here's a one-on-one with the keeper.
Bottomede.
Oh, it's missed.
Well, not by much. He did everything right except pop it away.
Beat the keeper very easily, Lee Bottomede. He's got a lovely dummy, and we saw it then. One-on-one and the keeper pulled round him. Just touched it wide.
So Argentina, you'd hope be looking to salvage some pride from this.
Yeah, they'll be saving themselves for Monday, I think, for Tuesday now.
Bottomede, able to get the ball in. Sardelli. Well, that was, yeah. And he's done himself some damage, Paul Lewis. He went in very, very hard.
Yes, at 5-0 up, but with only a few minutes left to play, it's not a wise decision to be doing that sort of tackle. But Lewis is a very enthusiastic player. Ooh, there's a kamikaze tackle if I've ever saw one. That's a sure way of getting hurt.
It was Sardelli. We have another substitution being made, I think.
Still waiting for the umpire to blow time back on. There's another substitution.
Fernando Falchetto, 20 years of age. This is just his 13th
Certainly not
international appearance. No, not an Australian, that one. So, changes being rung by both sides, but the result is certainly beyond doubt now. Australia have made a very good start to their 1992 Olympic campaign.
Certainly have, and they'll be excited by this start. 5-0, first game in in the Barcelona Olympics. It's a very, very good start, with the prospect of playing Egypt on Tuesday. Another game that they should win.
So Minadeo substituted, and he honestly was their best player, Argentina, but even he didn't do enough. Stacy once again. Another opportunity for the Australians, just pulled back.
Offside, I think, game. Quite often in the enthusiasm to get the ball into space, they just move forward, and when the ball is passed, they're often in an offside position.
So again, Argentina coming forward through Sardelli. Martin Sardelli. Hasn't played badly, but too many times that's been the result.
Yeah, just didn't have the stick skills to beat anybody in the one-on-one situation.
Ken Walk on the overlap. Davies, can he chip the goalkeeper?
Yes,
he has his hand. That's superb. Great work by Kenny Walk.
Yeah, there he is.
Stephen Davies finished it off superbly.
That's why the Germans call him the Maradona of hockey, with the headband and long hair and the unshaven look. But Stephen Davies is a rare talent, and when he came out of Parks, played for New South Wales in many national championships. He and his teammate Kenny Walk from New South Wales. In fact, it was very close to being outside the circle. Takes me back to 1984, something very similar. Let's watch it on here.
Let's have a look.
But that's very, yes, just there. Good play, Stephen Davies, and he'd be excited by that.
So Davies gets his second goal. Australia 3 in each half. They lead 6-0. Argentina once again. Good defence by the Australians. Walk again. The outlet pass wasn't great. Chance now for Sordelli. In the penalty corner, yes he can.
Kenny Walk won't be happy with that because he was a little careless with his outlet pass, as you called it, Dave. Went to the Argentine player and into the circle and penalty corner. At this stage of the game, it's all academic.
But still, they won't want to concede a goal.
No, certainly Deletti won't be. That's the last thing he wants to do. He'd like to go through this tournament goalless, and if he does that, Australia will win a gold medal.
So Lachlan Elmer and Warren Birmingham will do the running out for Australia. Alona will push it out for Argentina, and Ferrara, a conversion.
Big save. Well, no, why? Oh, I thought he. Oh, they're all. Yes, I thought it was a save. They're all complaining.
Carlos Gennaro not happy, and the umpire has accepted that and gone for the corner. Argentine bench will be concerned. Very good reason. Birmingham clever. Stacy, long through ball.
What you call the old hit and hope. I'll hit it, that will hope that everyone else misses and it gets through to Lewis.
Lewis and Davies both a long way forward for Australia. If it gets through, it's terrific. If it doesn't, got a long way to run back.
Yeah. At this stage of the game, it's just a matter of playing the game out. Australia's made 2 substitutions. Possum Reid from Brisbane, and Lachie Elmer, the right half.
It's Elmer.
He's from Victoria.
Yes, that's gone the other way.
Yes,
and correct as well. It was lifted into Elmer.
Elmer's a great athlete, coming to the Australian team in the last year or so. Can throw a long overhead ball, very athletic, can play a number of positions, was probably even under consideration for centre forward in today's game.
Oh, well cut out by Jay Stacy. Davies on the left is Lewis. If he can get it to him, tries to go over the goalkeeper again. But just unable to do so. He scored a couple of those in the national championships in Perth earlier this year. Just lobbed the goalkeeper with very, very deceptive shots.
Obstruction just outside the circle. Be a free hit to Argentina. Lachlan Elmer from Melbourne.
A very military haircut these days.
Yes, he has. The old flat top, as we used to call it in my day. That's dating me.
Perfect lie for a 3-wood.
Yes.
Here's Alona. Seems to have overcome the injury he suffered when Wansbrough scored Australia's 5th goal. But I don't think the Argentinians will overcome the injury to their pride from this 6-0 result.
Yeah, but every day's another day. In 2 days' time, they have another match, and they can come back from that and get back into the competition. That's how you have to approach it. This pool that Australia is in is so difficult, with India and Great Britain and Germany and Argentina and Egypt. There's going to be some upsets. Hopefully none of them against Australia, but along the way there'll be upsets, and if you can get back onto a winning run, things can change very quickly.
Elmer will play the ball back in once he receives it. It's a good run by Stephen Davies up the right-hand side, and good defence from Martin Sordelli, who has shown glimpses of very good play in both attack and defence. But as we keep saying, none of the Argentines have actually done enough. And that's largely because they haven't been allowed to, obviously.
Oh, a lovely pass. Here's another
good
goal.
Work. Say goodnight.
They're doing it easy now. It's a beautiful pass by Elmer to Stacy. Teammates from Victoria. Just a cakewalk. In fact, this result of 7-0 can be a bit of a worry because the players think it's going to be this easy all week. But you can only score goals as they come up, and 7. This beautiful pass here, and Stacy easy eliminates Reguera and just pushes it into the back of the net. It's as easy as that. Yes,
yeah, good work. Yeah, lovely dummy to the right-hand side.
Yeah, he did it
lovely
easy.
Drag.
Yep, very good play. 7 goals. it's a nice way for there's Finn McNabb and Frank Gein from Australia, 2 officials who will be here on the jury, and members of the technical delegate who make the running of this competition run smoothly.
Should point out they're not on the jury just at this very moment.
No, that's right. They'll be on the jury for other matches.
One of the things that the FIH makes very sure of, that there is always a neutral panel, neutral umpires.
Absolutely, and you mentioned earlier Australian umpire Don Pryor. Don Pryor will umpire in the other pool. You're not even allowed to umpire in your own pool, and I think that's the way to go. Keep it as neutral as you possibly can. They also have some umpires